Hello, Culture Matters podcast. Boy, do I have a treat for you. Before I introduce you to our guest, here's a quote just for this episode. A really good goal has to excite you and scare you at the same time. Juan Carlos Arzola. This person
Yeah.
I'm about to introduce you to is truly a light in this dark world. There's someone that goes back many years for me in the history of my life as a student of culture. This person has been advising and mentoring, guiding individuals with authority and influence, entrepreneurs, people in power, people in positions of responsibility for well over a decade and a half. And before that, they had many businesses, both physical, like real estate and construction, as well as the internet type domains and other assets that they were able to acquire. But beyond all that, they're a person of faith, a person of care, a natural born teacher, and a damn good friend, good-hearted person that I really want to introduce you all to on this show. Juan Carlos Arzola, man, thanks for finally coming on the Culture Matters podcast. I'm so grateful to know you and to know you all these years later after we first met at that circular table at the John Maxwell Leadership Seminar. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you for the invitation. And I'm here.
First
Answer,
question I
help you,
have,
support you.
yeah, I thank you. I'd like to know, firstly, you are a practitioner of coaching. How do you define coaching for our audience that has a pull, a call to the craft,
Future is more future oriented, performance oriented, moving forward oriented, totally different than therapy or healing or anything like that is dealing with the past. You see? So coaching is more, in my opinion, gets confused about consulting or advising or mentoring or even training. Consulting is more about you helping your clients get the answers themselves. You don't provide the answers. You help them open up their awareness so they get the breakthrough. The aha moment, that's coaching. Asking questions so that you can redirect them towards their goals, So it's like you don't tell them, you question that so they can create that breakthrough for them. So that's why you can coach anyone in terms of they can actually be extremely successful, a lot of power, but you do not need to know their industry too much, by you helping them channel their thinking process, they will create the breakthrough that they need, the thing that is holding them back to move forward. So coaching is more future oriented. It's like towards action usually. Because it's always, you have to think it about like this. We only do things because of 3 points, meaning human behavior do things only from 3 different perspectives. One is awareness, which is based on behavior. Like if you're aware about something, then you'll do it, right? So one way of looking at it is through awareness. The other one is looking at it through beliefs. I do this because I believe in that, and this based on values. I do this because I believe. So the behavior, the action is driven by a belief. So one is awareness, second is belief, and the third one is by principles. which is driven by your skills. So that's the reason the people do what they do. So you as a coach, as coaching, you need to open up their skills so they can understand the principles that are driving them towards that action, or open up their values, what they value, what matters to them, or figure out the behavior so we can open up their awareness, you know? So you really think about it, there's only 3 paths. Awareness, beliefs, and principles. Which is, you know, oh, I always do this. That's because you're good, an expert on that skill, that capacity, your capability, you know? So that because you were trained to do that, that's why you do that kind of the same thing over and over and over, you know? So that's what coaching is, you know? It's, once they understand where that is, they want to be able to, you guide them through that. Clear enough?
Do you think that well, it's beautifully said. Do you think that the listeners that may not designate themselves as a coach have a coach within them?
Definitely. I always say there's not a problem. It's always you have to ask the right question to retrieve the answer, you know? You can coach yourself up to a certain point, but thereafter you need help. You have to have help. It's like this, Jay. It's like, imagine you are the heart surgeon. You know how to do surgery on the heart. You're the world's best on that. But you cannot do it yourself. You have to ask your friend to do it for you, right?
Yes.
Right. Even if you have a problem with your own heart, even though you're experts and you do it every day, you need to go through anesthesia and cut yourself. And you're gonna do that, you know. So the same kind of concept on coaching, because you don't know what you don't know. It's hard to read the label if you're inside the bottle, right? You know how to read, but if you're inside, it's hard. So through questioning is opening up awareness, you know. So I don't know if for the people listening to this, once people understand the 7 levels of awareness and you practice them through coaching, you know, it's like you open up more that perspective, that view, the awareness. You notice more, let's put it that way. You notice, you realize, you recognize, you see beyond that. And just when you notice, that's a breakthrough. You know? And it's like, oh, I never thought about it. It's what I call mental concepts. What do you mean by mental concepts? Is why do you what do you think? I mean, yeah. How do you think? How are you thinking? And we go beyond that. There's different mental concepts, you know, that are within our thought process. Depending on what kind of filter we have on that specific day, we see the world through that. But if we develop the awareness, we can see beyond that. And that's why I believe you can do coaching up to a certain point yourself, you know, asking you a few questions or journaling it down a little bit. That's all good. But if you're going to do the deep real work, you need the expert. You know?
What common denominators have you found that the most high performance coachees have in common of how they show up?
Okay, the big one of the biggest one is on awareness. Okay, for example, let me just share with you a couple of things. There's a big difference between I want to go to the gym. That's the level, I think it's 4. I want is a desire. The next level is I start to go to the gym, right? It's like, yeah, you just don't want it by saying it, and articulating the words, you actually taking action. So you are much more aware because you're actually doing it. You see, there's a big difference right there. So that's actually like, oh, that's individual awareness. Like, oh yeah, you start going to the gym, but guess what? Maybe Jay start going to the gym every day for 3, 4, 5 months, and guess what? Then you become even more aware. That's discipline. Then you're more discipline awareness, kind of like, yeah, you know that's good. You don't need to check the weather to decide whether you're gonna go or not. You just go because you're disciplined, right? Like you're much more aware. But there's a level even higher than that, which is the one that high achievers and the world's more successful people that I've seen are on the next two. Actually, they are. It's called experience awareness, meaning, yeah, they're disciplined in whatever they do, but they're willing to try new things. They're willing to go to the new gym, to try new machines, to do that new exercise, to challenge themselves not to go because that got bored going to the gym every day for a whole year. They're willing to try another gym, another challenge. So the awareness is more of an experience. You see, they're willing to go beyond outside, the normal, the habitual thing. And so and then the last level of awareness is more of a mastery. They don't react, they respond for who they are. So it's more into their identity level, you know. So when I see these patterns at the beginning or through the conversations, then you can know you're talking to high performers. They're disciplined, they're willing to experience, and they have that mastery in whatever skills. I mean, this is just very open up to whatever because these apply to business, to the health, to the relationships, to any arena of their lives. So that's how I see very quickly how aware. Self-awareness is extremely powerful. They're unstoppable. Once that muscle goes to the gym, oh my God, that person is not gonna give up because he's disciplined. He's willing to experience new things and try new food and try new restaurants and try new people and meet new people and challenge themselves. Right? Like you just have that muscle and you just apply it to anything that you do. Does it make sense?
Is this taking one's core competency into new environments through that discipline and not being pulled into them, but being able to cope with them and master them? That's what I'm trying to make sure I follow.
Yes, but remember,
Like, okay.
also is they don't see failures. They see learning. They see either I'm gonna win or I'm gonna learn because they're experienced. I'm gonna gain the experience. You see? So that's why they are very, very, very aware. They say, yes, I mean, if I'm gonna try this little thing, whatever that is, let's see how it is. And they go beyond, they're willing to experience new things or in overall because they know they're gonna learn the experience, and that's good. They don't see failure at all.
Okay, let me
Very
get
positive people.
so
They don't see
even if I don't get the outcome at the highest level, I grow in my level.
Exactly. Brilliant, Jay. Exactly. I like how you're thinking. Exactly, because they know failure is a requirement for success. They understand that. It's a requirement. So guess what? They see, let me make a mistake every day. Right? But they say, well, for other people, they might label it as a mistake. For me, it's experience. I know this doesn't work. I'm going to do this. That's why it's awareness. You see, it's awareness, which is beyond the mind. You see, it's like, what do you mean? Yeah, that awareness is watching the thoughts. The awareness is watching what you're thinking and how you're thinking. The awareness doesn't judge. You know, you could call awareness spirit, you can call it God, you can call it energy, whatever. I'm trying to use a
Potential?
term. Yeah, yeah. You can call yeah, you potential, you can call it in potential if you want. Yeah. It's more of a spiritual energy. You see? Because remember, there's mind, there's body, and there's spirit.
Mm.
Right? People tend to be mind and body, mind and body, mind and body, confidence, competence, confidence, competence. But guess what? Someone is watching that. It's like you, John, Jay, the little 7-year-old Jay is the same one that I'm looking right now. It's the same person, the same self. It just got bigger, more handsome, more smarter, you know, and all of that. But guess what? Through your eyes, it was this, you were like looking at the world the same way. You see? That's what I'm trying to say. You see? And it's like that's what is awareness. Is because you become more aware. You be able to see and notice more. It's like, ah, yes, that's powerful, my friend. That's really, really, that which, you know, not only you need to know the 7 levels of awareness, but you also want to know how to go from one to the other one, right? You know, like how you gonna do that, right?
And is the what's the how does the coaching relationship dictate the speed and or effectiveness of the climbing of 7 levels of awareness, would you say?
Actually, yeah, actually helping them go through that loop, through that. It's like, I don't, you probably know this customer 5 level of awareness, right? Business in the business world, there's the unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, and most aware. It's kind of very similar. Okay, so you
What?
bring the client from unaware all the way to the sale through awareness on sales, on behavior driven kind of thing. What we're talking about is more on the sell. He's going even deeper than that. You see, so the job of any marketing is to move the clients from different levels of awareness through the copy, through the messaging, through the questioning, and XYZ, right? So they can make the sale. In terms of this awareness or any kind of awareness, any type of awareness, however you want to say it, the coaching helps you make the loops jump, you know, so you can become more aware with that. Oh, never thought about it like that. Huh? Yeah, I'm doing this, but not recognizing that it's like. So the coach, through the coaches, lets you see um that. Okay, because if you really think about it, wisdom comes from 3 sources: inner, outer, and other. That's it. You want to get wisdom? Those are your 3 sources. Each one has the little tools, their experts, people, and strategies and all that. But that's all there's coming from. The wisdom is inside you, inside other people's. That's the reason that we read books or something outside. That's the thing, you know. So that's a Harvard University did a study based on those 3 things that I'm telling you. The way that they encapsulated it is a nice way to explain it, but it's kind of the same. You know, when I talk about the awareness, it's kind of going a little bit deeper and trying to help people see why coaching is so powerful. You see, because you cannot read a book on awareness and just expect that's going to happen. You know, because you're going to need someone to help you with through the questions, climb the ladder and become more aware. Because, you know, it's like you're my coach and you're going to help me run a marathon. I have to run. You can run for me, right? Even if I pay you, it's kind of the same concept, you see. But it is very powerful for CEOs, you know, to be able to get perspective and perception from other people.
I want your thoughts on this. If I'm running the marathon, I'm competing against the others. The coach may be able to help me cooperate with myself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
So
trying
what?
because in the absence of that coach, I'm competing against others. I might be looking at them and not looking through myself, or
Exactly.
hard
Exactly.
enough at myself.
Yes.
But I have to
Yes.
compete with them. But
Yes.
with you by my side and above me and by my side, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now you're helping me
Yeah.
cooperate with myself.
Exactly.
That was
Because
a
the
really good thought experiment you gave us right there with the running, because I immediately thought of competing and then, well, what about how do I cooperate with myself as I
yeah,
help me
yeah.
out here? I'm missing some part of it, I think.
I like your metaphor. You know, metaphors is one of the biggest ways to get the big picture out of all of this. But yeah, I like the way that you share it. You always wanted to compete with yourself. You see, you want to be better than tomorrow. You know, the one from yesterday, and grow. As you say, you don't compete with others. That's why you fall back into this roller coaster. You know, into the mind. Oh, me.
The reason that comes up is this: without self-awareness, I might just blame and complain against everyone else.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
And then
We
I'm
fall into
competing
that.
against, I see it in
Yes.
company cultures all the time. They're competing against each other and not competing against the competitors. We're not cooperating with each other. We're
Yeah.
competing against their own team.
Yeah. We without exactly, and just to add to what you said, um, without this awareness, you fall back into the emotion. That's the reason that you start looping. If you think, and there's only two ways that you're gonna do it. If you think about whatever emotion it is, okay, we're not gonna label. It could be frustration, it could be fear, it could be shame, it could be insecurity, it could be whatever. Okay, pick your flavor. Okay, whatever flavor you want in terms of feeling this bad emotion. Okay, either if you think that one single emotion as a balloon, like a bubble, either you're going to be inside the bubble, surrounded with all this thing and just looping inside, and I feel this, blah, 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 everybody's fault and the culture, whatever. You inside that thing, you cannot get out. You know, because of the emotion trigger a lot of things. Or you outside the bubble and you ignore it. And you completely ignore it because it hurts.
Yeah.
Right? So either you're labeling and labeling and labeling and blaming and this and that because you're inside that thing, or you just ignore it completely because you don't even want to say it, because you're outside the bubble, because you're not aware. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, that's why it's so powerful. Because once you become aware, oh my God, thoughts get some upgraded, your emotions gets upgraded. Yes, you might feel that whatever you're gonna feel, but actually there's a study at Harvard that they did. An emotion won't last more than 90 seconds. If it lasts more than 90 seconds, you're creating a story behind it. So you're looping. So guess what? It's because you're not aware. You see? Yeah, feel that emotion and just let it go, like it says, right? Yeah, I don't know. You read that book; it's really good. But
Powerful.
yeah, that's why awareness is what I believe in this concept: 20% change, 80% results. You touch, you fix, upgrade the awareness. Oh my God, everything else is gonna be easier for you.
So I wanted to say this, and it's funny. What I did not say in the introduction is what I'll say now. For the listeners, Juan Carlos has worked with, everyone you could imagine that's added value to us throughout this personal development industry, from Robbins to Maxwell to Proctor, Burchard, all these extraordinary practitioners. So my question to you, my friend, is, of all of these great mentors and practitioners, philosophers of our day in personal development. What would you say are some of the common denominators of, are there patterns? Because you've been a student of all these different teachers. Are there things they all share?
Yeah, I will say, I'm thinking, if you make me choose only one, I would say they're very aware that relationships, proximity is power. Proximity is power. Community relationships, all of them. Because not only in the education industry, but I was blessed to be able to 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 have spend a day almost with George Bush, the U.S. president.
Wow.
And then recently, I was actually with the Prime Minister of Qatar right before. Well, I met him in Qatar 3 years ago, 4 years ago already. But then I got a message when the war in Ukraine started, and he was on CNN, and the way that he proposed, and we thought, just to tell you, in not only in the education industry, government, and even overseas, and something recent with this Ukraine war, when you build relationships, you learn. Oh my God, I challenge myself to meet everyone. I don't care. They don't need to be in the same industry as mine, but I rather challenge myself to go beyond and learn. Even that, I mean, the one thing that he taught me, the guy from Qatar, I tell you these couple stories. He was so humble. We had, I think it was breakfast. And then it was the three of us. I was with a friend, and then he goes, and then we finished the conversation, and then it was a beautiful place. And then I was just, okay, he left. He had to leave because of a lot of things. And I stay, and then I was ready to leave again. And then the people at the restaurant and the place, they go, no, 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 no. He already paid for everything that you consume.
Wow.
You can go. And that taught me humility. This is how you build relationships, not because he paid for it, because he left me a nice message and he said whatever they good, and then he left, and then of course I called him back and all of that, and he was like, oh my God, you see. So it was this, and he was with his wife and the children and all of that, and then you see him at CNN speaking about the values. He's making decisions out of his values. I think on my Facebook page there, I talk about him and I actually link it or something like that. And I felt so proud that he made that decision to actually help Ukraine with I think gas or oil or whatever, because that's what they do. I mean, that's the whole country do that. And it was, you feel like, oh my God, these values are aligned. He's taking global actions, and that's what coaching does, man. And then that's how I actually saw, wow, I felt good about me, that I was able to help, to talk. Somehow, one question can influence one action, and it's a huge action. You see?
Yes.
And then when with President Bush, I don't follow that. I asked him the one question that I'll never forget was, because of course he was talking to me about all politics, and I don't want to talk about that, but I just asked him, so how do you want to be remembered? And he goes, I just want to be remembered as a good father. That's it. That he didn't say I want to be remembered as a person who stood the war or whatever. No. He just wanted humble, so simple. I just want to make sure I'm remembered as a good father who gave everything to the wife, to the children, and the next generation, and all of that. So I saw that as a really, like, at the end of the day, all these celebrities, these high profile people, high achievers, they all have a heart, man.
Mm.
They all cry. They they're all there, but sometimes the power and the thing, but that was the lesson for me there. At the time when I met him, my children, my two boys were little, so I understand that power. But yeah, after talking about all the decisions from 9/11 and Russia and China and all of that, at the end he went to say about his daughters. So
Wow.
to answer your question is all of them. You know, is build relationships. Proximity is power, and challenge yourself to always, build bridges. Build bridges. Some people are ready, other people might not be ready, but and when you think about this, Jay, the world is like the higher you climb, the less people you're gonna find. you know. But the thing is, if you get to the top by yourself, you did something wrong, right?
Wow. Wow.
Oh
Yeah.
God, you know. So you're gonna challenge yourself to always, don't need to recreate the whole thing. There's a lot of people who create great things, and you can just leverage people's tools, strategies, influence, audience, knowledge, experience, and grow.
Wow. Thank you. In 2024, are you taking on, permitting access for our listeners to apply to be mentees? Is that something that you still offer?
Yeah. I work with a lot of high achievers that have a big heart, and that's actually the requirement. They have to have a big heart of service, self growth, and service, self personal development and service. They want to have to be able to grow themselves, and of course be able to make a global contribution to the world. Um, it's not that hard, my friend. It's not hard. People think like, oh no.
Hmm.
When I work with my people, I say, look, I send them the videos of the Nobel Prize last month, and they watch. I say, wow, you see what they did? That's a legacy right there, and it's not a big deal. You can do the same thing. So challenge themselves to go after, not because of the prize, not because of the recognition, just because you did good for humanity. You
Hmm.
know, and that's priceless. So because if you really can do X, just shift it up a little bit and give another perspective, or upgrade it a little bit, it can become easily the world best. You know. So that's why. So yes, if you have listeners here and they want to work, if it's available, they can just log into the website, and just probably the best way is just to book a call, and I'll be able to see, and then they can apply and see if it's gonna be a good fit, and they can join. I have a couple masterminds and also retreat, so they can just join on that, and I can get them the details.
Yeah. Is this ask.me.com or is
Yes,
there another link?
they can just go to ask.me. That's it, and they can just apply there. Probably on the book a call. I may have an offer, depending on what month. I may have an offer on the homepage, but depending on where they are, because one of the things that I see in a lot of high achievers, they have 3 inches and 5 miles deep in knowledge. So they're extremely brilliant, but they lose perspective, and they're not clear. What can I do, or how can I do? How can I make this better? How can I monetize this? So it's a challenge for them to see that. So they lack clarity, and they don't even know what. First of all, yeah, I mean, we know by definition what clarity is, but they don't know where do I need clarity? How do I get the clarity? You see, that's actually awareness. If you really think about it, they
Yes.
don't see that. So that's one of the the things that we help out, and then collaboration. Of a lot of things that and then it's just getting together with people, to be able to help each other.
Thank you. Everyone listening to this, please join Juan Carlos on ask.me.com. Share this episode to a friend, someone you care about, and leave a review on the Culture Matters podcast. And final thoughts for 2024. What would you say is one thought for our listeners to take action and make it a great year for themselves?
That thing that you don't want to do is holding you back to a wonderful life that you probably didn't imagine. So that thing that let me be ready, you'll never be ready. So just do it. Do it that it is. Actually, it's better to do it imperfect. Because if you think about it, perfection is a trauma response. We all imperfect people. Nobody's perfect, right? So guess what? But it's beautiful when people see your journey of transformation.
Wow.
You see, so that thing that you just do it and build with your client, build it with them together. It's beautiful. You create not only authority, but authenticity.
Please share this episode, follow Juan Carlos, and we will see you next time on the Culture Matters podcast. Thank you, my good friend.
Thank you.